First of all, let me take a step back. RTL at Connect, we're part of a larger company, corporation called RTL Group. And I think this alliance is part of the three pillars of RTL Group. So focusing on the core, meaning total video, it's about TV and video. Focusing on growth, opportunities, and that's exactly what we are doing here in this venture. And the third thing is really about alliances and partnerships. And this is what it's all about today. We won't be able to compete with, global players, global tech players, the GAFA, the FANGs, whatever you call them. And there are plenty of others looking for our TV and video business. They are very hungry for our dollars. And we need to be able to compete against those ones. And we won't be able to do it on our own. So we need to partner, we need to build alliances with the right partners, of course. And here it makes a lot of sense partnering with RTL and NBC. NBC, the largest media company in the world, especially in the US, and RTL Group, the largest media company in Europe. Makes a lot of sense.
That's 33 seconds, but we'll get over that.
I'm sorry.
KC, the topic today is the idea of forming media alliances to mitigate uncertainty. And I've introduced today by giving everyone a list of miserable news. What would you say the biggest driver was of this deal? And to put some joy back into the conversation.
Yeah, well, first I just want to thank you for having us here. You've been amazing hosts to us and great partners. I think, for us, partnerships are also a big part of our growth strategy across NBC Universal. And it's about finding the right partners. And it's about finding partners that see the world similar to how we do. And that very much is why we have the partnership with RTL. And partnerships are very much about trust. And through the negotiation and discussions that Stefan and I had, we were at an inflection point of the discussions. And we met in New York and had a meeting in a restaurant. And it really came to a head. But I think that really melded us together. Mm-hmm. And we shared very much what's the vision of where we're going. What is partnership truly, and it's not nickel and diming on every deal term, but is about jointly locking arms and trying to change this industry. And I think we've got the right partner here, and that's why partnerships matter, and for all the reasons from a competitive perspective that Stefan touched on.
That's fantastic. It's really exciting news. And don't you think you're going to get away with not having to answer any questions? So, Oliver, can I ask you, what are the technical opportunities coming from this partnership?
Well, first of all, obviously media and tech are two sides of the same coin. It's a saying, but it's really important to repeat it all the time. And the alliance model also works on the tech side very well. We have just seen the panel before, the joint venture and the product offerings from Tech Alliance. And Tech Alliance as such is a joint venture between SmartLab, more coming from the supply side, and the buy side, the DSP side from the Mobi side. What was absolutely necessarily to build an alliance beforehand is you need to be aligned in this alliance about European requirements. And then you need a specialist as well, TV specialist like a Mobi is. And then it's getting interesting because then you have two experts in the room who can really elaborate on this. So the alliance model for tech, I really believe in this.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Stefan, can I come back to you and ask you about the strategy behind
We don't hear you otherwise.
Oh, it's fascinating. Can I ask you specifically about the strategy that drove the alliance?
Well, strategy, again, I think it's... we won't be able to do it alone. And as Casey was saying, I think at the basis is a lot of trust and sharing the same vision of the future. And the vision is about content, premium content, of course, brand safety, because everything we publish online, in linear, non-linear, it needs to be up to a certain level. We cannot broadcast everything or stupid stuff. We have an impact on society as publishers and want to keep that. But on the other side, we need to simplify the access to our inventory, because this world, I still believe this world is a little village. Clients are more global. They are very focused, of course, on local, and you need to be focusing on local from a consumer perspective. But from a client's perspective, you need to address a global market. So you need to find the right partners that share the same vision about the future, that provide a brand safe environment, very good product, very good content, and then you need to execute it in a nice way, in a simple way. That's exactly what is at the core of this partnership.
I would just add to that it was finding a partner that wanted to take risks to change the industry. There are many folks that are sitting passive, waiting to see what's going to happen. But what we found with RTL is they were ready to go change the market and move the market together. Mm-hmm. And I think that's having that similar mindset of let's shape the market together.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Can I just ask about brands, the brands who work with you? What will be the results that they can expect in the first 3 months or 6 months?
I think the big vision is for simplification. How do we make it easy for the brands and the agencies? The market has become more and more fragmented by consumption habits, by shifts in the marketplace, and simplifying that for our partners is absolutely critical. Day one, we're like a duck, and our feet are moving like crazy underneath the water. But for the what they see, it should be a simple, kind of beautiful thing that happens. And then hopefully through automation and things like that, through tech, we're able to make that a simpler process from the back end.
I think it's really important. You were saying, Oliver, the two sides of the coin, and I really believe in this. You have the media side of things where we need to simplify the access to the inventory, but then on the other side, you need the right tech in place in order to execute the campaigns.
Totally. And maybe if I just add on this, because what can you expect out of 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? It will be dependent on how easy we can make the life easier for NBC Universal. It means as much broadcasters, as much publishers we can consolidate on one platform. From addressability perspective, it's very different in Europe. But as much as we can make more scalable, then you will see, I'm sure, numbers will rise up, because then you can execute on it and not just having a project, a campaign by campaign project that still works, but it's not scalable for the future.
And is there any particular innovation that you think will come out of this?
Yes. I mean, platform business sounds a little bit generic, but it's really important. I think also if you've seen your one platform initiative also in the US and in Europe, I would say it's inevitable, because we have so specifics, and then you need to bring it on like what we have just presented on the Tech Alliance, a platform, a marketplace, but in a shoppable way, in a more easier way for a buyer, because not everybody is, for instance, very programmatic, mature, or savvy, right? There are also traders which are not so well trained or advanced. For them, we need to make it easier to access this inventory. And then it's also for our friends from NBC Universal much easier if I see, okay, Spain and Germany is very different in addressable TV, very similar, more or less the same specifications. Okay, France is different, but at least then it's transparent for them, and then they can execute towards that.
Okay.
If I may add something on top of this from a client perspective, I really think today, being a CMO or a brand owner is particularly a complex job. You have a variety of offers, fragmentation, a logo zoo, as we call it internally, from publishers, media vendors, tech companies, middlemen, agencies. How do you find a way? Mm-hmm. So if we are able, by launching the right alliance with the trustful partners that are sharing the same vision of the future, then we can be a little bit of a guiding light in this fragmented world. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, we're having direct conversations with agencies, with advertisers. They trust us. They've been trusting us for the last 30, 50 years. And we need to bring them, initiatives and solutions to continue to put their money and to put their trust in us, I would say, beyond the money, but put their trust in us in order to talk to their clients and basically have efficient campaigns.
Okay.
Maybe if I can add on this, because when Stefan says trust is also really education. So, and that is what I really like in the alliance model between NBC Universal and us, because if you ask someone in the US, what is addressable TV for you? And you ask someone in Europe, what is addressable TV for you? You get many answers back, from programmatic TV to advanced TV, whatever. And that is something we need to work together, find, to this simply terminology thing, because otherwise the buyers are completely lost in space, right? Okay, why is it so different? Yeah, it's our job to explain this.
And can I ask you all, actually, what do you think are the biggest issues, the most pressing issues for marketeers? Is it brand safety? Is it transparency and measurement? Is it brand marketing efficiency across platforms? What questions what reassurance, what questions do you get from brand leaders?
Yeah, I think it's all of that. I think
Yeah.
it's not one silver bullet and then you can sort it. But I think it's about having a clear strategy around each and trying to solve each of those challenges together. I think our content between our companies and the commitment to brand safety is something that is a huge advantage that we have in the marketplace. What we're trying to do with measurement in the U.S. Is highly disruptive, but I think also really, really important to move the industry forward. There's some things we're doing from a thought leadership perspective, so with research, that all of that, I think, allows us to try to move the ball forward and earn that trust with our brand partners.
Okay.
You know, it's about pioneering, not waiting for the things to happen. You need to be bold. You need to take the lead. We are two leaders in our respective markets, so we need to take a standpoint. We need to lead the industry. We don't need to wait for Google and Meta or whoever to set up the rules of the game.
Exactly.
So we need to come with initiatives. So in the US, it's pretty clear, a little bit more advanced than in Europe because of the fragmentation of the countries. But I can tell you there are plenty of initiatives that are taking place at the moment about cross-screen measurement, about, of course, transparency, and tech and simplification. But and one more thing that you were mentioning, it's also about, and you were mentioning it too, it's about training people, giving them insights. And you will see today I think at the end of this morning, we have a session on the new life of the living room. It's a research and a study that we have conducted first in Europe, but we have now the extension in the US through the NBC partnership. And we will reveal today plenty of insights on the CTV industry. What do we call CTV? What's the impact on CTV, on consumers? What is their relationship with advertisement, etc.? We need to address those topics, and we need to take the lead as industry leaders and strong media companies.
Because if I add on this, from a tech perspective, we can solve a lot. So what you were just mentioning, ad verification, audience qualification, we are working with numerous vendors. Everybody which is familiar, double verify mode, local vendors, but still you cannot solve everything. If you want to measure viewability on connected TV, give me a vendor who's doing this. It's just very really new, right? And it's also education. We said, hey, we would like to do that, but it's not so that we can solve it straight away. So that means, hey, help us also a little bit on your side. We are willing to do that. We have the partnerships in place, but we can only apply what they are able to do.
Is any questions from the floor? No, not enough coffee yet. Is there anything you'd like to say? Because I think we're reaching to the end of our time to finish.
No, I appreciate you having us and being able to talk about this partnership, because I think for our company, it's so important to have someone to help shape the future with, and you have been nothing but the best partners. So thank you for that, and thank you for having us to talk about this.
Now the same, likewise, and as a conclusion, this partnership is not only about business providing or making money; it's about the industry. We've been able, thanks to this partnership, to attend the upfronts for the first time, and it was really an opportunity for us to discover how do you address the American market, your advertisers, how do you talk to them from a leading media company's perspective, and has brought us a lot of insights on how we should bring this as well to Europe. So thank you again.
Oliver, anything from you?
Yeah, I was just thinking, it's quite interesting for me, because we are sometimes from the tech perspective, say we are the only European ad tech provider in the world for TV. The rest is US or something else. However, we have two major partnerships in place with American companies. One is Mobi for the Tech Alliance and NBC Universal. And that's kind of the way how how we see alliances, really in the right area, in a wide range, if it matches our thinking and vision, and that is really beautiful.
Fantastic. Hey, thank you, everyone. Thank you for making it so well.
Thank you.
Thank you.